Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cambridge Pinstriping Garage. I owe you a quick review on the 50 litre super silent Hyundai compressor. That's not it. There it is. There you go, guys. It fits under the bench. Good stuff. That means it's portable. But in all seriousness, guys, this little guy, it's portable, it's small enough, I can pick it up, move it under the bench and tuck it out of the way in a small workshop I own over here, so it's not constantly connected in the middle of the workshop. And this is the main reason I picked this guy, you know, and it also is quite silent. It's super silent, in fact. You can see the unboxing video and the first impressions on my channel. It's going to be somewhere over here or somewhere over here, wherever I can place it. But today I'm going to show you and explain you basically a short-term review. I think I own this guy for about, I think it's about 6 months, maybe slightly less than that. But at least at this stage, I can show you, explain you my experiences with this compressor, the good and the bad things about it. So hopefully if you're looking to buy one of those, it will help you out to make up your mind. Okay, so it's a little bit dirty, but it has been used. That means it's been used, and I don't own it for a really long time. But I think I put it through its paces, and for what I use it for, it does really good job. But before we go there, before I explain you all the good and bad things about it, let's remind ourselves how long that actually takes to fill up and how loud this thing actually is. Okay guys, so my mobile phone is over here with a stopwatch. I'm going to pull the button and see how long it will take. And this is actually how loud it is, so I can talk over it. Yes, I'm close to the camera, but this is a very good noise. It's not the direct drive, super sharp compressor noise that just pierces your ears. This I can live with, you know, maybe not all day long, but when it kicks in, it doesn't make me go deaf. So this noise I can work with. And there we go, it's full, you know, 90, nearly 100 psi. And it takes just over 2.5 minutes to fill up, which is pretty much the same when it was brand new. Okay, now we know how long it takes for it to fill up. We're going to find out how long it will take before it needs to kick in running a spray gun, which is the main thing I bought this compressor. And what I'm running here is nothing special. It's an Iwata W101. It's an HVLP high volume low pressure gun, which is probably the most common used gun, and I'll be running around just over 30 psi on the trigger. So we are nearly full there. We're running on 90 psi. The needle is right here. I'm going to start my stopwatch on the mobile, and we'll see how long will it take when I'm fully depressed the trigger from a HVLP gun running just over 30 psi on the trigger for it to kick in again. Ready? Let's do this. So there we have it. It takes about 25 seconds for it to kick in when you're running HVLP spray gun on full trigger. You never really press the trigger all the time for 20 seconds, 25 seconds when you're spraying, but it gives you an idea. And it probably takes just as much to kick back in. It drops below 60 psi, and to refill back to 90 psi or 100 psi, it takes about another 25-30 seconds. So that gives you an idea of the capacity of this little guy. Now on that basis, guys, I'm not painting a big projects. I'm painting motorcycle parts and guitars just like this one. Is it enough for me? Yes, it is. Would I like something bigger? Yes, of course I would. I wish I could have a 200 liter quadruple engine, maybe a belt drive compressor that I can mount outside, but it's just not practical for my little workshop. And for what I need, this guy does the job just right. Could I benefit with something bigger, something better, something more expensive? Yes, I could, all of us could, but this one does the job just fine and I'm not complaining about it. In reality, I can spray the whole petrol tank of a motorcycle with primer or clear coat or base coat, and this guy kicks in, and then I wait for it to fully refill, and then I move on to another part, rear or front mudguard, and the process steps in. I've painted some really big projects over here, and this guy's been running for a few hours on and off. Yes, them heatsinks get relatively hot after some operation, but I've never had any issues, never had any problems with it whatsoever. It's an oil-free compressor, so there's absolutely no maintenance to it. Obviously, if you run it too hot, you overheat these guys, something will break, but it tells you in the manual about operation of it. But again, guys, I've painted some really big jobs over here. It was running quite hot, but obviously if it's running too hot you need to stop. I never had any problems and I don't anticipate any issues in the near future. I mainly run spray guns from it, HVLP and LVLP guns. If you guys asking for any power tools, DA sanders or anything that is, I really cannot advise. I don't think it will work, but I cannot advise because I don't have any. I don't know them. I do all my sanding by hand. I prefer it this way. I don't work on massive projects, so I'm completely sufficient with that. But my honest opinion, will it work with DA sanders? I don't think so. I don't think it will. I think it will struggle. They push quite a lot of amount of air, and you use DA sanders for longer period of time than you use a spray gun. You spray a few patterns and then you're done. DA sander, you know, from my experience, you need to be running for half an hour before you have any results. Obviously, depending on the part you're doing and the condition of it. But I don't think this little guy will be coping very well on a long period of time running DA tools or any other power tools, in fact. But again, it depends on the air consumption from any tool. Again, I can't advise because I don't have any. With spray guns, I'm satisfied. Now I told you all the pretty good parts, I'm going to tell you a couple of bad parts about it. First one is not so much of a complaint. It's something I noticed after probably 2 weeks of operation. One of those hoses, which is the outlet, because obviously you got the air filter, comes through here, you know, filters it through, it goes to the tank, and the other engine goes the other way around, but it's the same principle. This one over here came loose probably 2 or 3 weeks after I bought it. I only noticed that because it was taking a little bit more than 2.5 minutes to fill up, and I put my hand over here and it was pissing down air this way. So I noticed this is loose. Not so much of a fault. The thing vibrates, you know, it's rubber mounted, but it vibrates. I guess it just came loose. I got some PTFE tape, wrap it around, tidy it up, job done. Not so much of a fault complaint, but it happened. There you go, simple. And the other thing is more of a complaint about the Hyundai component and the part, and the only thing I had a problem with is right down there. It's the drain. It's a drain valve. Yeah, as you can see it right now, I've replaced it with a nice wing nut, kind of butterfly thumb kind of style screw. I believe it's a brass component, so this way I can grab with my fingers and I can easily drain it, because I drain it on daily basis, so I can twist it with no issue whatsoever and I can drain it. Yeah, you can hear the air escaping, and without no problems I can tie it back up and it's tied. Nothing escaping from it. Originally that little guy over there came with it's supposed to be a thumb screw, but it was just a screw with like a grip on the end. It was very small, and I don't know, you have to have arms like Popeye to first of all undo it, you know, because it was just physically impossible. It didn't have these wings over here, so I couldn't grab it. So what I ended up doing is to have a tiny bit of pliers, grab it over there, just pinch it ever so gently so I can then undo it with my hands. So I drain it daily. And then to do it by hands, it was so difficult. And I swear to God, you know, I was just trying as hard as I could. My fingers were nearly bleeding. And when the tank was full, when the tank was full, I can hear hissing, and the hissing was coming from down there, and there was no way in hell I could do it out of my fingers. So what I ended up doing, I grabbed another pair of pliers, tiny little nip, literally like a fraction of a millimeter turn, and it was completely tight. But I could not do it if my life depended on it with my fingers. So I've ended up replacing that, and that part actually is from the old compressor I had, which was just a cheap Chinese 25-liter compressor I had before. Fittings was the same, thread was the same, so I worked the treat. So Hyundai, you got a good stuff, but sort it out, will ya? And just a tiny little wing nut on the end will make life so much easier. And that's it, guys. Hopefully it helps you out if you're looking to buy one of those or any other brand, you know, for similar, you know, description. Just a disclaimer, guys, I bought this compressor with my own money. Nobody gave it to me. I had no discounts from it, from Hyundai or anybody else who supplied this. I've made the money with my two hands, and I paid for it with my own money. Nobody gave it to me. Nobody paid me to say what I'm saying. This is my experience. Do with it what you please. You know, hopefully it will help you out if you're looking for something like this. Am I happy with it? Yes, I am. Would I buy it again? Yes, I would. Would I like to have something bigger and better? Absolutely. But for the money I pay for it, I am satisfied. Hope it helps. Rock hard, have a beer, and I'll see you very soon.